I want to go over what makes this better than most of the competition out there, which is very simple because a lot of the competition don't even have this feature right here, which is kind of the laser where you point it down so the machine can realize if it's going off of an edge, it can detect right here if there's kind of more depth. So it knows not to fall down the stairs, knows not to get into areas where it shouldn't go. Not to mention also lasers here and here to kind of detect the edges. Maybe if you have something that's kind of an obstacle, like here, it goes over. You can sense right there, it can know to not go over, even though this obstacle is below this thing, because this thing is meant to kind of bump to let it know that it needs to turn around. But because some objects may be below this bumper, so it might not sense it. So that's why this is such a good option and such a good component of the vacuum. Not to mention the actual AI laser technology on the top right here, where it can kind of see above the vacuum into the floor. So it can kind of see into the kind of obstacles in front, so it knows not to go into it. It's kind of like a secondary precaution because of course if you bump into something, the front bumper will let it know not to go that way, but the laser kind of tells it to avoid that even before the bumper activates. So it's kind of a two-system avoidance. But yeah, these lasers on the side is great for kind of avoiding socks, kind of pedways, kind of rocks, kind of anything that's below the kind of threshold of the bumper. Not to mention its actual suction power is a lot higher than a lot of the competitors. It can handle sand, hair, cereals, and other challenges messes that a lot of the other vacuums will not be able to suck up. Not to mention, once you pair this with the app, it has a lot of flexible modes that you can choose between standard cleaning modes for everyday cleaning, quiet mode for kind of low noise cleaning, but you won't get as big or as powerful of a suction, or max mode, which is the maximum suction and maximum power for really super deep cleanings, especially on the carpets, but it will be a little bit louder. It also has an intelligent mapping system that recognizes multiple floors, floor types, the hardwood floor, carpet, and whichever one that can also store up to 10 floor plans. So you don't have to kind of readjust every single time. You just have it stored and kind of one click away. Not to mention the app is super user friendly, lets you customize cleaning preferences, view history and statistics, access tip and support. So anything you really need, the app has got you covered. And its overall design is super durable. It can withstand bumps and scratches. As you can see, nothing's gonna happen to this thing. This thing is built to a tank, which for what you're paying for, this is quite to be expected. When this even drops down the stairs, it's really not gonna be impacted because it is so well built and it's so well durable. Not to mention, compared to the previous generations of this kind of vacuum cleaner, it has a more efficient battery management system, so it can go for longer without sucking as much power because it knows when to kind of downgrade the suction level for maybe hardwood floors because you don't really need too much, but for carpets, you need the deep cleaning, you need the higher suction power, so it knows when to switch between which ones. And just overall super easy to kind of control with Alexa, with Google Voice, SmartThings, and a bunch of other platforms. And because it has AI integration, it can kind of learn its environments and improve the cleaning each and every time. So that's why it is, once you have it for maybe a week or two, it is going to be super dialed into your exact settings, your exact room, and your exact place of residence. So this will make it super nice once you have it for a few weeks. But even the initial setup phase is super painless and super easy to set up. And I definitely can't forget to mention the actual dustbin right here, where right here it kind of sucks out the dust from this, so you don't have to empty it at all. And it has a capacity of 60 days, but from my experience, you can really even push it to 90 days because unless your floors are super dirty and decrepit, you're not going to be emptying this out that much often. And I love the built-in filters like this one in here or this one in here. The two filters, that this one you can clean with water so you improve the efficiency, and this one I think you got to replace, but this you don't have to replace this often, maybe like once a year, I'm not too sure, but you definitely don't need to replace this often, so it saves you money and also saves you headaches of kind of replacing things each and every week.